Away days are a brilliant part of football. Travelling to a totally obscure area of the country to watch your team fight tooth and nail to get 3 points. You're in a crowd of people going absolutely mental because your team scored a goal. You've won. 3 points in the bag. Absolutely loving life. Unless you're a Nottingham Forest fan, because we've only scored 3 goals away from home this season in the Premier League and conceded 29. I'm not going to claim to be a tactical genius, far from it, but I'm going to go over some of these clips from the away games this season and just try and figure out maybe why we are so bad on the road and why Forest fans are so happy when we now play at home, because we actually might win. If you enjoy this, or even if you don't enjoy it, then please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new, and let's get into this one, shall we? First game of the season, Newcastle United at St James's Park, obviously, because I'm talking about away games. Don't know why I thought they need to specify that, but moving on. We've got Fabian Schär on the ball. Obviously, he scores an absolute thunderbolt here, and okay, this is the first game of the season. It's a learning curve. Bunch of strangers, mainly, this team. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. We're going to learn from our mistakes, surely, as we go on. No one closing him down. Obviously, it ends up being a brilliant goal, but it could have been prevented if Lingard was just a bit closer to him. And in the next screenshot, you've got Schär here, Lingard chasing after him, but after he's ran past him already. And Colback doesn't exactly do a great deal here either. And I just want to point out, I'm not at all digging out a certain player in this video on purpose. If you play for Forest, I want you to do as well as possible every single game, and I've defended Jack Colback when a lot of people haven't. So in that instance, I'm just saying I'm not at all deliberately trying to slag off any player. I'm just stating what's wrong here. This is of course Everton. Ball over the top of our entirely disjointed back line. You've got McKenna, Cook, Worrell, Nico Williams, and you got Toffolo here as well. 1, the line is really high, and 2, it's very disjointed. And 1 ball has completely mugged off our entire defence, especially Worrell and Nico Williams. Now, we had actually bought on Czech Kouyaté in this instance to go more defensive. Of course, we'd scored a late goal. We bought an extra midfielder on for an attacker, so we did have the right mentality in that regard, but we quite clearly had also not known how to actually manage a game, and this kind of proves it. Earlier on in that game as well, you got Anthony Gordon here in free space. No one at all goes to close him down or put any kind of pressure on him. He does take a shot, he doesn't score, but ultimately he shouldn't really have had the opportunity to take that shot. Now, Man City away. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It's Man City, but we just made it so incredibly easy for them. In this one, you got Erling Haaland totally out-muscling Joe Wall in every single way. And it's a goal. Here, this is our own fault because this is a total mess. In fact, I'm going to put the video version of it in because I genuinely don't really know who to actually blame here because it's everyone's fault. Initially, it's Henderson's for passing the ball straight to Bernardo Silva. But then after that, it's a total calamity. If you look at how the defence is before we give the ball away, you've got Kouyaté, who was playing as a centre-back in this game. That's an accident waiting to happen. He's a midfielder. You've got McKenna, Worrell, Loddy, and I don't even know where Nico Williams is. He must be over here somewhere, out of shot. I don't know. I just have a feeling that shouldn't be how it is. Now this, let's be honest, it's an absolutely world-class ball from João Cancelo, who I'm astounded City let him go, if I'm entirely honest. But again, it's a bit like Fabian Schär. If someone was closing him down in the first place, maybe he wouldn't have had the opportunity to play that ball. If we just had, I think that's Freuler. If we just had Freuler close him down, maybe he couldn't have played that ball. And the rest of the goal, I don't really think you can blame anyone because the ball is aerial at all times. It's just headers, and you're not going to beat Haaland in the air. But I just feel it actually starts here from the very beginning. The ball into the box from João Cancelo. Again here, another time where we've got a player totally unmarked, and then the ball that gets played to that player is not at all trying to be stopped, or the player that plays that ball, I should say. No one is putting Bernardo Silva under pressure. If you see the video version of this, O'Brien's just standing there. He's not doing anything. He's just ball watching. And then Cancelo gets it. He's got all the time in the world all the time in the world to take that shot. Another one here against City. You got Mahrez, who takes 2 headers and then a little touch to Julian Alvarez, number 19, who ends up scoring here for Man City. And I have to point out, particularly Chiquirate, because he's watching here, as you can see what's going on. Then the next screenshot, again. You're not telling me he's actually looking at Alvarez and tracking his run. He's watching Mahrez. McKenna's on Mahrez, struggling. Chiquirate should be dealing with Alvarez, really, or at least anticipating what might happen. And as you can see, obviously, Alvarez just goes for our entire defence and scores. It's just too easy. The final one from the Man City game is Kevin De Bruyne completely mugging up our defence from our own free kick. This was our own free kick that we failed to do anything from. They get a counter-attack. And De Bruyne actually puts Worrell on the floor. Mahrez ends up having a shot. It deflects. And then Alvarez again in free space takes a shot. And there's only really Julian Biancon even attempting to stop it. So from bad to worse, we're on to the Leicester game. This is a positive video, isn't it? Forest, please, sort it out. You got Nico Williams here. Not really trying to stop Harvey Barnes. He's more than anything just watching what's going on. And this shot deflects off Williams and it goes to Lingard. And then we see this. You're probably thinking, if you've never seen this game before, okay, right, but he's obviously just clearing it. Like, he's booted that right out of danger. No problem. What's the problem? Like, come on, you're being negative, David. No. Because the ball doesn't go out of danger. He slices it and it goes straight to James Maddison. It's an absolute calamity of a goal. And again here, we're seeing again a high, unorganised line. Nico, Cook, McKenna, Loddy. And this is actually, by the way, when we're playing 2 at the back. At the start of the season, those first few games you saw, we were playing 3 at the back. This is actually the first game where we played 2 centre-backs. Again, Barnes, all the time in the world. Vardy actually plays this ball to Barnes. Vardy's here, where the cursor is. And again, Barnes, huge amount of space. You can literally see the direction of where that ball's going to go. I've got to point out this isn't even defending, this is attacking. When we do get the rare opportunity to score a goal, we don't take it. On what planet does Brennan Johnson not score in this scenario? You'd think surely you just shoot, but no. He was very low on confidence at this stage of the season, Brennan. He plays it to a Wani, and it's a complete nightmare of an attempt on goal. Obviously, this was quite a good game compared to the other ones that we've had, but the Wolves defeat. Brennan Johnson gets a penalty, he misses it, it's a poor, low penalty, and yeah, another example of us not being clinical when we do get the occasional chance to score on the road. Of course, Brighton away was a bit of a turning point in the season, really, a huge confidence booster to go to Brighton and get a point. A brilliant team in a brilliant position, and they still are. To get a point there was brilliant. But the fact that a goalless draw is being seen as a positive is pretty disappointing. But I'm highlighting this screenshot because Dean Henderson saved us in that game. Another absolutely diabolical performance here against Arsenal. You've got Yates initially giving the ball away here. You see, I do criticise Ryan Yates. To anyone that thinks that I don't, I just think he gets way too much stick. He does give the ball away initially, and you've got Saka again, not really under any pressure. Loddy's just ball watching. And he plays it in to a totally unmarked Gabriel Martinelli. Another example here, Partey. It's a brilliant goal, but again, no one closing him down. He's got all the time in the world to shoot. And again, from the assister, it is literally just edge of the box stuff. He's got the ball under no pressure, just plays it straight to the middle, and he just obviously thrashes it from there. And again, this one, I may as well show this as a video because I don't know who to actually blame here, but the entire defence. You've got Odegaard, who's obviously a remarkable player this season, but there's no one actually trying to tackle him. He's just dribbling around our entire defence. Again here, quite a high line, and it is a tad more organised than normal, I suppose, but it's very much to the right. And that's something that we haven't even mentioned yet. All these goals, or the really bad goals, appear to be coming from the right-hand side. It's normally Nico Williams that we're criticising. It's actually Serge in this case. But ultimately, so much time to go and shoot, and obviously that one ends up being another clanger from, well, Bolly gets nutmegged, and Obviously, Hennessy makes a mistake for the goal. And then here, this is one of the worst ones of the lot in my opinion. It was recent. So the fact we haven't learnt from this is a real concern. I think we have learnt some lessons, but it's still a concern. And again, down the right-hand side of the pitch, because what on earth is Serge doing here? Why is Serge just running here? Well, I contradicted myself there. I do kind of get why he is, because you've got Pereira just in free space. He's probably going to try and stop Pereira, but as a result of that, he's leaving the right-back slot empty. There's no one there. So I get why Serge made the run, but at the same time, it's just going to leave Solomon, number 11, completely exposed. And you know what's going to happen here. He's got a huge amount of time. He even had time to tee it up. Easy. West Ham United, the final game we're going to look at, obviously. And yeah, I've not even mentioned one of the key things. The fact that we concede goal after goal after goal in quick succession. And it was that, in particular, that made me do this video. Not just the fact that we got battered by a team in the bottom three, but the way we got battered. We actually looked like we were holding it out. 70 minutes. Brilliant. We took off Shelby for a forward. I actually get that. Let's try and go attack him. But not Andre Ayew, for starters. But at the same time, with that vulnerable away from home, one change can completely change the trajectory of the game. And that's exactly what happened. But it was an absolute farce of how it happened. Because we take off one player, seemingly, and that completely kills us in every single way. Bowen into Danny Ings. It's a brilliant goal from Ings. But again, Wall is not picking up that run. You know, Bowen was on the ball for quite a while. Ings was near Wall for quite a while the whole time. This one here, again, down the right-hand side, we've got Paqueta. He's on the ball here. He ends up playing it into Benrahma, and it's just an absolute calamity. Do I have another screenshot? I do, yes. Again, it's another one of those goals where it's just the entire defence being an absolute shambles. Here, again, down the right-hand side, you've got Benrahma just going for a gentle stroll. You've got Declan Rice, brilliant midfielder. England captain maybe at some point. Plays it into him, and he scores. Great goal, but again, no one marking Declan Rice. No one really putting Benrahma under any pressure. And then the final one, again, down the right-hand side of the pitch. Fornals this time, just mugging off Nico Williams again. And fair play, Antonio's a beast. He's a physical presence. That's going to be tough to beat. He completely outmuscles Toffolo. But that ball could have been prevented. So it's not necessarily a case of the actual goal scorer being prevented. It's also a case of the assister. And what I'm learning from looking at all this is quite a few things. The right-hand side is a major area of weakness, not necessarily in terms of personnel. I want to make that clear, because I think Nico has had good moments this season, and I particularly think Serge has. I think Uriah's fantastic. But maybe it's a system, and you could put the blame on Cooper for that. I am in no way whatsoever a Cooper outer, but that is something we've got to look at and we've got to be concerned about. The amount of times Nico's just ball watching, not actually putting in a tackle. And this is why a lot of people say that Nico is more of a winger, he's more of a wide midfielder. And we've seen Nico start to do that at times this season, and he does it quite well. But when he goes back to his more traditional position, he struggles. So maybe I personally would try and use Nico more up the pitch going forward rather than at right back. Only right now we don't have a choice. A massive issue when it comes to pressing and just general pressure, marking, everything. Very high unorganised line most of the time. And then the few times we do get chances to score, we're not clinical enough in those situations. So I'm thinking here, we need to be more attacking, we need to be more clinical. So let's get an extra attacker on the pitch. Like Cooper did, he brought on Ayew. I like the fact that he did that, but it killed the game. We can't let one decision completely change how the game goes. So then I'm also thinking, okay, let's play like we did against Man City. Let's play ultra defensive, the regular defence, but then we play like 4 midfielders and 2 attackers and just defend and defend and defend, and then just try and hit them on the counter and try and take our chances. But then if we do that, it's not only dull and boring to watch and not really what you want to do. We're in the same boat again, that we're not having enough chances away from home. So this is on Cooper to deal with this, and I don't really know how we're going to deal with it, to be honest, because there's so much wrong. But that's just what I'm picking up on. If you have enjoyed this slightly different kind of video, please hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new, and I will do an Everton preview, and of course I'll be at that game when it's a game that has a huge amount of importance, and it feels like one of the most important games of the season so far. And I haven't really struggled with nerves at times this year building up to games, but I do feel the nerves for this one. Looking forward to it though as well. I'll see you very soon, everyone.